date.
Alright, Ninjas, right now it's time once again for the 1 hour manga drawing practice challenge. Once again to become a super mangaka. And today it's time for the Super Bubble Butts, suggested by Fate Watcher. So yeah, thank you for the suggestion. Now pick up your butts and let's put it on paper. Yes, let's get it rolling. Bubble Butts. Let's set the timer and let's go. Alright, so right now we're gonna draw the Super Bubble Butts suggested by Fate Watcher for the 1 hour manga drawing practice challenge, where we draw for a whole hour a specific human body part to practice the anatomy of the human body, to apply these skills to manga in my case, or other drawings, illustrations, whatever you want. You can apply it to any drawing stuff, right? Whatever you're doing. But yeah, that's what we are practicing, and to improve those manga drawing skills. And we do this also with reference. So in this case we draw not from imagination but from real reference, you know, and then applying these to the craftsmanship of manga or drawings. Well, when you make manga you definitely need to be able to draw, unless you're the storyteller. But I think you like, you cannot make manga without the artist, else it's just a book. So yeah, I think the artist is most necessary for a manga versus a writer. Because the writer maybe can write, but if he cannot draw, then there's no manga visually wise. And manga is mostly important visually. So yeah, I think the artist is the most important with manga, even if they can draw like shit or tell a story like shit. But if the pictures are nice, I mean, a picture tells more than 1,000 words, right? Even though story is also really important. But yeah, I don't think manga can exist without the artist, or a artist, versus yeah, a story person. But then again, you know, both is also important. But I think the most essential is the art. You know, else it's just a book. Not that books are not good, but you know. Like, if you don't have the art, then just write a book instead of a manga. Because manga is a story that is told through pictures and their characters that, you know, experience shit. And yeah, it's like a movie on paper. A movie! Yeah, well, you also have manga like with a dinosaur and such. Like, I saw this manga some time ago, like with this baby dinosaur or something. There's there's not even words in the manga. It's just completely pictures, but that still tells the story. So manga is like a visual storytelling device, you know, to get your story across readers. And yeah, the text is for details, to fill in details, because yeah, if you don't understand manga like 80% just through the pictures, then it's shitty manga. Or at least, yeah, then you rely too much on the words instead of the visuals. So the visual point of manga is definitely an important aspect of it. The most important, I think, over story. Or at least, yeah, story is also important. I mean, the visuals also tell a story, you know? Like you cannot only tell story through only text, but also through visuals. If you look at the Egyptian hieroglyphics, you know, there's little pictures. Even with Chinese and such, it was based on like pictures and such. So yeah, visual storytelling is definitely important in this world. And I think there's still a lot of untold manga across the land, far and wide, that are not explored yet. Just like collecting all the Pokemon. But then for manga, yeah. Like, you don't have to be Japanese to make manga. I mean, in the end, manga is comics, is also strips. So it's all a visual storytelling. Yeah, there's a way of how to do it, like a style within that. But yeah, it's still a visual thing there. Okay, let's see. So here is an attempt of the first bubble butt. Maybe it's not big enough. big. I try not to draw each one too long, so we can do some more per session instead of like I could maybe draw for 1 hour 1 bubble butt, let's say, but yeah, this is more for practice. So this is not like a it's not supposed to be like a final piece. It's more like a practice piece, so that's also a difference. Like how some people, and I myself also do this when I have a sketchbook, trying to make it look nice, but the sketchbook is for practice, else it's more like a portfolio book instead of a sketchbook. A sketchbook, and then you show all these fine detailed pieces if you're an artist, but that's not really a sketchbook. A sketchbook is supposed to be for practice, like your thoughts, your of course you have like portfolio kind of books, but with more finished pieces. But that's finished, polished shit. That's more to present, like to show a client or whatever, not as a your thinking, your brainstorming, you know. It should not be a polished, for only polished stuff. Like it's for practice, mainly. Sketchbook. It's also a sketch, you know. Oh, here's my sketch, and then I show a whole final piece that worked hours on, and it's all nicely cleaned and nicely finished. Not really a sketch then, eh? Anyways, bubble butts. So these are not supposed to be finished pieces, and even though, yeah, some sketches, some artists, yeah, a lot of them actually, they're really talented and they have a really nice looking sketches, even though the sketch in itself already looks amazing. But you know, yeah. Anyways, bubble butts. Bubble butts. Bubbles. Bubble the trouble. Okay, this is a bit too big. A little bit too big. Bubble. Super Bubble Butts. Maybe it's a bit too wide. Far and wide. And also we're gonna add some screen tone here. This is actually a separate layer, not a brush. But basically I masked the layer, and then you can like sort of quote unquote use it as a brush. It's actually the reversed way of traditionally doing screen tones. Like normally in manga, it's like you cut out these pieces of sort of sticker you place on your ink piece, and then you cut out what you need, right? But now it's the reversed. So it acts like maybe a sort of a brush, but it's actually a layer with a mask, and then you then get it back on it. But yeah, if you're not a digital artist, you wouldn't understand what I'm saying even. It's like, what the hell is this guy talking about? What's this crazy ninja talking about? Layers and such? What is a layer? Yeah, if we had to do this quickly on paper, that's not... it takes too long of a time. Maybe I'd rather than use a marker, a gray marker or something, then cutting out all these screen tone, and then yeah, like I have not done it many times though with the physical screen tones. I do have some laying around for when we get to the real party time series, but for now yeah, I'm still also working behind the screens on party time the series, but yeah, a bit stuck with stuff and figuring shit out. Yeah, if you want to make a big manga series, it's not easy. Also been reading this interview of Oda, Oda, the creator of One Piece. I might even make a video of it just reading it for 2 Ninjas again. I find it interesting a lot of times to read my favorite authors, their process, or there's an interview of Eiichiro Oda. Recently I found it, and he talks about like his life as a mangaka and what he learned and all that, and his youth, you know, his valuable youth experiences when he was still young as a manga assistant as well, working for a lot of mangaka, many different ones, and what lessons he learned there and such. Times have probably changed a little bit, maybe with the newer mangaka, I don't know. Like, the thing is, in Japan there's a whole system with this, right? Mangaka and such, and if you have the talent enough for it, then yeah, you can get all these connections easily. Like if I have to find other mangaka here, it's just non-existent in the shonen realm, at least. Or it's more like the other kind of comics, I guess, or the other styles, not like really shonen way, I think. So yeah, but yeah, maybe I can be one of the ones that actually does something. But maybe there's some that I just don't know, and yeah, they're somewhere. But people that actually are serious about it, you know, making a story an actual real manga, you know, not a, like some people might understand, like, oh yeah, I draw manga, but it's just the illustrations, not actually telling a story through the images. It's like yeah, comic or whatever. Technically it's the same, right? But the ones that actually follow the more shonen, battle shonen way, or the Japanese kind of storytelling techniques, and there's a certain way, you know, like mostly it's black and white, not in color, and with screen tones, and you know, the emotions of the characters and action, and you know. I did see on TikTok a video of a comic, so someone was narrating, I guess it was AI or something, narrating like this comic, or this, yeah, of Wolverine, and like Captain America was killed, and Bucky was killed in this one, where and they were killed by Deadpool, Omega Red, the metal guy. What's the other one? There was another one. Well, it's pretty interesting to read it like that, or at least follow the video, someone narrating about it. I think I might find it more interesting to consume it that way. But yeah, it was interesting story about Wolverine, how he was taking revenge on Deadpool, Omega Red, the metal guy from the X-Men, what's it, Colossus, yeah, because they killed like Captain America and Bucky. Nick Fury was also there. And they told it like in different parts. Yeah, so there was that. Interesting. It was an interesting video. I don't know, it's yeah. Remember that I don't read many of the superhero comics. I do have some Deadpool laying around that I read some time ago. With many Deadpools. And also back in the days I had this Wolverine one. Yeah, the thing with the comics is, where do you even start? Like, there's so many of them. So many authors had their hands and fingers in it. I wouldn't even know where to start. Let's say I want to read the real Spider-Man or something. Yeah. I prefer to watch the animated show, I guess. The 90s one. of like the, yeah. They did remake it, I think, but I think they messed some shit up or changed things, as always. Like sometimes adaptations, a lot of times, they should just keep at the source material and not just want their own fingers in there, how they see it, and have to change it to their ideals and such. No, keep it at the original source instead of always changing things, you know? Like oh yeah, you have this story as a circle and they make it a triangle. You know, the original source is a circle and then they're gonna shape it to a triangle because that's what they prefer. Well then just tell your own story instead of adapting something and not keeping at the source material. But yeah, you know, they want their own other way, of course. But I guess there's some good adaptations out there, maybe some might actually be good versus others. Like, yeah, the thing with manga and anime, like the manga, a lot of times it's just the storyboard for the anime, so it's like they could almost just one-on-one copy it. Of course, with the animation, you have a lot of amazing animators that like animate like certain parts a bit different maybe than in the manga, for example. But they do it so well, and it actually makes sense for, you know, because it needs to move, right? And yeah. Then again, yeah, with One Piece, even though the animations look great, currently, sometimes it might be a bit over the top, like they're becoming Super Saiyan. Like it's not like that at all in the manga, and yeah, it's like going more the Dragon Ball direction instead of it becomes Dragon Piece. But yeah, even though the animation looks really good, but yeah, like sometimes what matters more, like something looking really good or actually tells what it is to tell. Let's say, oh yeah, I don't know, you tell something and someone changed the message. It's like back on school in kindergarten or whatever. Like, oh yeah, you sit in a circle with your friends or your classmates, and then you tell something, right? So you tell, so one person gets told something by the teacher, and then you sit in a circle, and then everybody has to retell it to the next one. And then at the end, when the full circle is done, the teacher gets the message back through all the people, or all the children, let's say, and then the message completely changed, you know? So there's that. And yeah, maybe with, you know, yeah, what's the point again? Oh yeah, people changing shit with adaptations and such. Like I will watch the new Netflix One Piece, but yeah, it's probably one of the better adaptations, I guess, but there's still things in there that's yeah, it's yeah, One Piece is definitely not easy to adapt. I'm already surprised that it is better than, you know, expected, or yeah, like yeah, as such a series, but because it's really cartoony, right? Ish, or stuff that happens, you know. But then again, yeah, a lot of budgets with the CGI, especially if Chopper's coming. You know, it's just full CGI, I assume. The thing is though, like, it is possible. If you look at Sonic the Hedgehog movies, like I so far enjoy all of them. It's well done. The original concept, I'm glad actually in this case they actually listened to their fans and changed shit. Because if they kept their original design, I don't think it would be yeah, a thing, you know. The original Sonic adaptation idea, the design of it, they're trying to make it too realistic-ish, but yeah. Bubble butts, bubble butts. All that glory. Yeah, I should definitely have some bubble butts in the manga. I mean, yeah, some people actually have these butts, right? So it's not like, oh, yeah, it cannot exist in the world. Number 3. Bubble Butts. So yeah, I was going over the ninjas. What did you watch recently or play any games? Any games you look forward to? What is the worst game adaptation? And what is actually a good one? A good game adaptation? I mean, yeah, Sonic, I think, was a good adaptation of the movie. Yeah, Sonic. Sonic! What else is there? Mario. The recent 3D Mario was actually good. I liked it. It was also fully animated in 3D, which I think... It's weird though that they're in real life though. What I still want to see is, like, for example, a World of Warcraft movie. I'm not the biggest fan, but their cinematics look always so good with the trailers. If they made a full movie like that, that would be real amazing. But I guess animating a full movie like the trailers is a lot of money, man. The budget, maybe it's yeah, I don't know. I think I'm not the only one that thinks like that would be really cool to see such a movie. But yeah, I was not the biggest player, whatever. Played a little bit, but I know people that were really addicts. Maybe still even to this day. So yeah. Big Bubble Butts is today's time. Yeah, right now we're drawing the 1 hour manga drawing practice challenge, where we practice a specific body part for 1 hour, and then with references practice these drawings to improve our manga skill abilities, and then able to apply these, in this case for example the bubble butts, to a manga, let's say, or in the manga. So let's say you have a party at party time and you have some girls with nice asses, butts, you know, that can for example exist in the realm. But yeah, this, so I take a lot of your suggestions, what you ninja suggested, and sometimes my own, I guess. But we have a list of what you ninja suggested. So some things I prefer to draw more so than other things. Like this is a fun one. But yeah, you still need to draw things that maybe you don't enjoy the most to draw, right? I guess it just needs to be done. Like yeah. It needs to be done. But this is literally, you know, to how to improve your drawings. You can also do this on paper, of course. This is like digital paper. But yeah, this is literally a way to improve those skills and, you know, get more XP. Grinding. Do bubble butts. Right. All right. Up to the next one. We need some different angles. Different angles, yeah. So what are your favorite things to draw, ninjas? If you are a drawer, or maybe you're not a drawer and it's also fine, you know. Maybe do something else, like, I don't know, 3D modeling or games, animation, or I don't know. Something else. Game. So I'm trying to get these shapes, shapes matter, you know. And it may look a bit rough, but I think with some manga, also how fast they have to finish it, sometimes it looks really rough, yet it still looks good, but you see their sort of speed in the lines, you know, it's not completely nice and neat, it's more, yeah, how do you say, sketchy sometimes, scratchy even. I think it's a bit also with the early Chainsaw Man. I've not read all of Chainsaw Man, but at least from what I saw the first 4 volumes, also looks sometimes a bit scratchy and such. Also with Jujutsu Kaisen and such. Yeah, One Piece has that as well a bit. But it does feel like more human, I think. Like yeah, a lot of AI shit. I see on like the website of where you can submit your manga for the Shonen Jump stuff, Manga Plus, that's what it's called. A lot of AI shit is on there, and it gets a lot of views, and it's crazy, man. I think one even got in the rankings. It's like, what the hell? But I do like, in a way, if you do scratchy lines in manga, right, it does feel more human. Maybe then AI is gonna replicate that as well, make it feel more human by scratchy lines at some point when it improves. But in actual real manga that's made by humans, those scratchy lines, it does feel more, yeah, that a human made it, right? And you can also see it with old Disney in some of them, like 101 Dalmatians with the dogs, the 101 dogs. Like the animation, you can see a bit of that more sketchy sort of style in there, which gives that like authentic craftsmanship, you know, that drawn kind of vibe, which, because it was lazily drawn, but it has something nice to it. Like, it doesn't, maybe sometimes with the digital animation, and by that I mean the lines are more digitally drawn, it feels maybe a bit more artificial. If it's too neat, you know, too clean, or yeah, I don't know, there's a certain aesthetic to it. Even if you look at like old Dragon Ball and then the newer Dragon Ball or Super, and then you look at also the stylistic sheets that they used, like that's maybe another thing, but like, yeah, in the movies and such, some look, the animation looks really good, like in the Broly movie, for example, the newer one. But the Dragon Ball Super characters do suffer of muscle. They got more skinny, right? Like the muscular shapes got lost. You know, yeah, I guess, yeah, because of the character sheets that they had to adapt to, you know. It's the same with the Pokemon, new anime of Pokemon. They changed the style a bit, and the mouth of Ash is really low. Well, this is maybe already a while ago by now. 5. Number 5, Cheerios. But yeah. Number 5, okay. So we're now drawing the bubble butt suggested by Fate Watcher, which is the quest of today. This is one of the more fun challenges, even though we do also need to do the other ones. But this is more of the fun ones, right? For me at least. Let me know what is your favorite thing to practice with drawing? All up to number 99 already have your suggestions laying around. So there's that. Yeah, the shapes, like copying from, you know, those shapes definitely matter. That's why I also draw a bit more rough. Like getting those shapes right. If you have the shapes right, and then you can, when you make a final piece, you know, make it for that more of a final kind of, yeah, drawing. And you know, all the pro artists use references if they don't know how something looks like. Get your references. It's not a cheat. Or maybe it's a cheat in a way, but you should not see it like that. But it's sort of like that, in a way. But yeah, if you don't know how something looks like, and even sometimes you think, maybe you know how something looks like, until you have to draw it, and then you actually are like, oh wait, how do you, even though you know how the thing looks like, you don't actually know how to put it on paper. So that's the difference. Like, for example, I drew cats. I had to draw a cat or something. And I know how cats look like in real life. But not how to put it on paper. When I was in that moment, you know. Like, and yeah, that's for many things, I guess. Or it would turn up like a deformed cat or something. Like there's a certain way the shapes a cat, for example, has, right? Or whatever creature, there's some sort of, I guess, a set of shapes, rules to make the set thing. Like, okay, you can of course stylize it, but there are some proportions and such that you need to sort of embrace and put in your piece for it to be looking like the thing you're referencing, you know? Like, let's say in Avatar The Last Airbender, you have like, they do it quite genius. They mix creatures. So you have a turtle duck. So you have ducks with a shield. And then they mix elements of a creature. So that's a really fascinating... Well, it's a simple idea, I guess. But to put it into practice in your final works. And then it's really interesting to see like a different flavor, you know, than always the same shit. Like, okay, they could like have separate turtles and ducks. But they mixed it as turtle ducks. So you have creatures, animals, but they're called turtle ducks because they're turtles and ducks mixed. You know, mixed. Yeah. Same for rhinoceros or something with a Komodo, which looks like a really cool creature. Like if you have the Komodo dragon, the last living dragons on Earth in Indonesia, on the Komodo Island, where they live in the wild. They mix like, I think, a rhinoceros with a rhino with a Komodo dragon as well, where the Fire Nation is riding on. So like they have a lot of those creatures in their world where they mixed stuff. But you need to, you know how let's say a turtle looks like and a duck, in order to mix them and then mix those elements to make turtle ducks. But yeah, they yeah. Even with their animation, they also, for example, the creators Brian and the other guy, they Like they had to have these kung fu fighting moves or certain animations, and they also filmed themselves doing certain moves, and also filmed martial artists and such to get it from real live reference, so it looks good in animation when they adapt it, you know, like the fluid bending of like, and actually hiring experts in the martial arts that have a certain martial arts style and then apply it to the Avatar: The Last Airbender animation. It's really, yeah. If you don't know how something looks like, don't be afraid to use reference. If you want to have a certain outcome, steal like an artist, right? Yeah. I actually ordered the book, the physical one. I have it now. Still have to completely read it though. But yeah. The book was a bit smaller than I expected when it came in. Steal like an artist. It's a simple book. You can also get a digital, or it's probably online somewhere for free. Or even on YouTube. Someone, you know, doing a voiceover. Audiobook. An audiobook. But now we're drawing the Super Bubble Butts and well, yeah, the butts. Maybe not all of them are completely super bubble, but yeah. It is what it is. It's better to draw from real life though. Why? Well, because then you have to make the 3D space into 2D on paper with your own skills and not from a flat image. Like if you have a photo reference, it's already made into 2D space, you know? But yeah, that's definitely, yeah, I cannot have all these girls lined up now with Super Bubble Butts, so. And draw from that. I wonder, could you even stream that though? Drawing like nude art, like, yeah, probably not. Even though it's art, but yeah. All right, to the next one. This one is more sitting. Draw a bit of lag with that while we're at it for the context. Actually, while doing this, I should maybe a bit more stylize it in a way to my way of drawing. Even though the legs here are a bit of a thing. Let's see how this go. Here's one of the feet, and it goes down here. Now I also have some figures for those references. For example, but yeah, shapes definitely do matter. They do matter when you draw whatever you draw, or at least, I guess with anything, yeah. The other thing though with references is though, if you copy someone else their drawing literally and then claim it as your own, well, it's not literally your drawing. Yeah, you drew it, you copied it, but it's not yours. You know, I used to do that back in the days with copying Dragon Ball Z cards. But actually the art, it's not mine. Like, you copy someone else their shit and then you sell it as if you drew it, even though you copied it. You drew it, copied it, but it's not really yours. You know, if you literally copy, let's say I now, oh yeah, I see, let's say oh yeah, One Piece manga laying around, and I literally copy the drawings, and then, oh, I drew it, therefore it's mine, but it's not yours. You copied it, and it's a good way to practice. But claiming it as your own, that's not really legit. Someone actually did it with one of my drawings in the earlier days, or some time ago. I drew a Joker, steampunk Joker, and then someone copied my drawing, which in a way was honorable, or at least, yeah, oh, someone thought my drawing is good enough to copy. But then I asked, oh yeah, did you, is this your drawing, or is this yours? And then he claimed it as his own. Yeah, but that's not, I designed the whole thing, or at least, yeah, the whole, like, you can have a drawing of a character that already exists, but you give your own twist to it. And then it's more yours in your style. Even though the IP, of course, is not yours. But the, your take on it, you know? Like, it's basically your writing style, your, what's the word? Your fingerprint? Everybody has their own fingerprint, right? The writing style, let's say. If you copy someone's writing style, it's just, someone made that style first, and then you draw in that certain style, or whatever. But yeah, you know, with anime, or let's say, they have to copy also the original creators, their style, and then to animate it, right? But you can see the way of how they animate, animation styles. Like, there's certain animators with a certain way of how they make things move in the animation, and then, oh yeah, you know, oh, this guy, oh, this guy, the guy with the blocks. All the blocks floating around and slice and dice, and that's that animator, you know? So yeah. Anyways, what was the point again? Style. A freestyler. Bubble butts. We're now practicing the Super Bubble Butts suggested by Fate Watcher. And yeah, we practice these with reference. Do 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 do. Yeah. Let's add some. Okay, so let's say this was traditional, then everything would be like colored in, right? With screen tone, grayscale. Like the screen tone back then was also used, they had these dots, right? You can see these dots. It's still used in manga today. It was also for the printing, the way of printing. It had to do with printing, you know? Like, there are methods to make it, to get certain colors, or, you know, by printing it in a certain way. There was something about it with the printing and why they use these dots to, you know, make gray. And it's also cheaper black and white than in color. Sometimes, or for example with comics or something, sometimes I think the black and white art looks better than the colored art, like that the color kind of ruins it, how they color. And it depends on how it's colored though, or at least in my personal Ninjakees opinion, without offending anyone. There's certain ways. I don't know. Sometimes the color actually ruins the drawing, I think, or that I prefer. Yeah, the black and white. It's personal taste though. Like, I'm not sure if you ever had that. When it's also with sketching, you know. Sometimes the sketch looks better, and then the actual finished piece. Like, oh shit, and then. Yeah, you know, the sketch is sketchy, of course, with lines, and then maybe in the final piece, it looks worse than the actual sketch. I sometimes had it with my own drawings, that the sketch I think looked better. But yeah, it's like, okay, which lines do you actually finalize, you know? And maybe that's the reason. Like, oh yeah, these lines look actually better, or maybe sometimes some things just better, or look better in rough state than finished state. Optional. Yeah, you know. Alright, how many more can we knock out here? Yeah, I can knock out a bit more if we go more rough. Which actually was also the point, to go more rough. Rough, do, rough. But yeah, I was going over there. And what anime have you been watching? Manga. We've been following My Hero Academia. We're up to date with. Dr. Stone has already finished the season. And then Gajaguta. We still want to see more of that. We did finish Kaiju 8 a little while ago. And next to that, what else did we do? Watch. Yeah, there's still also a lot of anime that we had to continue on, like Bleach. We were quite far in Bleach. But yeah, now with Crunchyroll, it's easier to just put it on, you know, with some things. Big Bubble Butts. Big Bubble Butts. Big. You like him thick. Big Bubble Butts. There was a time I drew a lot in my traditional sketchbook, or in a traditional sketchbook. I literally drew like everything I could get my hands on or whatever to try to finish it in one day, which kind of was crazy back then, and a lot of shitty drawings, of course. But it's definitely good practice. It's definitely good practice. Maybe that's a good new challenge or something for a video. Finish a whole sketchbook in a day, and then just go outside and draw stuff. Whatever it may be. Doesn't matter. You just need to practice and adapt and, you know, just draw from real life. It's good practice, I have to say. Yeah, man. 7. Especially with moving people that move. If let's say you are with the train or the bus and you draw just by passengers or whatever, people walking by, you have to be fast, you know. Get their shapes, their gestures. I guess practicing gestures is that better with that case. You have to be fast, real fast. So that's why I also used to draw with just a pen or a ink pen. Cannot really sketch and then ink and it's just sort of, I guess, could do it, but also you cannot erase it, so then you see where your mistakes are. Or maybe it's handy in that case to maybe have 2 pens, one in a color and the other black, to go over it and then make it better looking ish. But yeah, it's definitely good practice to go outside with a sketchbook and just copy the world. Humans, buildings, environments, everything. By doing this, you can you have to make the real space, reality, into, you know, 2D space and give it the illusion that a 2D image is actually 3D. So if you want to practice real good from real life, that's one tip that I could give you. Go outside and draw people, whatever. Or you can also go to the zoo. I still have to do that at some point. I've been saying this for a long time. But yeah, the thing is, you know, a lot of times when I go to the zoo, it's either with family or, you know, girlfriend or whatever. But they're not drawers, you know. So, and if I go solo leveling, or then you get angry, I ain't going without me, no. No, but yeah, with artists, it's better to go. You can draw together and, you know, learn from each other as well at the same time. But yeah, you know. Still want to go though. Needs also to be good weather, else your sketchbooks get wet when drawing outside. Yeah, a lot of rain here, so that kind of sucks. Yeah, and in the zoo you have a lot of outside spaces. But yeah, to practice animals, definitely a good idea to go to a zoo and then just draw them in a sketchbook. Basically what I'm doing here, but then in reality, in real life, outside. Actually, this is a bit like what I used to do in my sketchbook, but now digitally in 1 hour. So this you could see this as a sketchbook, you know. But I do try to finish each reference. Maybe even better would be to draw one reference more times. Like, yeah, a whole hour of the same ass. With different speeds, yeah. Big Bubble Butts. Big. Maybe they're not big enough. Then we have to do another session of these. How terrible. Big. Madlands. Alright, we're almost finished with this one. Two. Bubble Buttsfor. Big bubble butts. Maybe they're not big enough. I wonder. What do you think? What's your most fun thing to draw? If you draw, or what's I think inking is the most fun for me, more inking. The sketching is the hardest to figure out these shapes, where everything is. When that's figured out, then the inking. Like there are a lot of steps, you know, of with drawing and manga especially, a lot of steps. Also, and then you also have to edit it. And there's so many creative endeavors, man, with steps. A lot of skills hats to wear if you're a creator and an online creator. Some match, you know, but there's so many skills to tackle. Oh, that's the timer. That is the timer. This is number, what is it? 10? Number 10. All right, there we go with the Super Bubble Butts. So yeah, ninjas, here they are, the 10 Super Bubble Butts. Here is number 1. Here's number 1. Number 2. Number 3. Number 4. Number 5. Number 6. Number 7. Number 8. Number 9. And number 10. So yeah, ninjas, let me know your favorite or favorites in the comments down below, and what other human body parts you would like to see in the future, if we get to that point. Already have a whole list laying around here. But yeah, thank you, Fate Watcher, for suggesting the Super Bubble Butts once again. And yeah, man, hopefully you enjoyed this as well, ninjas. The Super Bubble Butts number 94. Yes! Ishh. Alright, ninjas, that was it for the 1 hour manga drawing practice challenge. Once again, drawing the Super Bubble Butts suggested by Fate Watcher. So thank you very much for suggesting the Super Bubble Butts. I also look forward to the next one, number 95, which is Ugly Feet, suggested by Rox. So look forward to number 95, the Ugly Feet. Alright, so if you have any other suggestions, let me know in the comments for possible future human body parts. Alright, ninjas, let me know your favorites of this session, and thank you for joining once again. Until the next one, NINJABOX ishhh, and see you ninjas the next time. Ninjakees out. Thanks for joining once again, ninjas. NINJABOX ishhh, and see you ninjas the next time. Ninjakees out.